ever play chess, General? Or, do you only play video games?
When we decided to make Command & Conquer a free-to-play game, it was definitely a big shift for us. And what it really came down to is Command & Conquer is ultimately, it's a strategy game. It's a tactical combat game. And certain elements of, mainstream free-to-play games are sort of an anathema to that, in that if you can pay to win, you're not a strategy game anymore. Suddenly you're a game where you buy the golden tank, you blow everyone else's tanks, and the competitive nature of our game completely falls apart. And so we as RTS gamers were like, we can't have that happen. We can't become pay to win. We can't ruin this game we've put so much into. So we've spent a long time just getting our core gameplay right and working out systems where players can definitely modify the gameplay based on earning things, purchasing them with earned currency, grinding your way up as it were, rather than using paid currency. And we made sure that all the paid stuff is pure customization or convenience. It's, make yourself look cooler, give your tanks clown noses, or whatever, or, let you skip a little bit of the grind. But the things you get that affect gameplay, the idea is that there are options. There's no better general. There's just a wide range of generals to suit different personalities, play styles. So it's less, oh, well, if you pick this general, you will completely dominate the game, and more, I like playing an aggressive kind of game. I'm not too worried about defending my base, so I'm going to pick the rapid assault general. Or I'm playing on a very urban map, a lot of garrisonable buildings where the players will put their units in there and really try and lock down the city. I need an urban combat general so I can really go and clear out the enemy and take the city. It's really more about options. And so, we sort of went back to the core of our game and made sure that that was sound and would still work as a free-to-play game, and then just continued to iterate on that, while really letting the sort of monetization free-to-play elements grow around it. We didn't want to become a business model looking for a game. We'd rather make a great game than work out how to make money off of it. And that was when we were a box product, that was the case, and it's still the case now. We are starting out with 3 factions, which is your Asia-Pacific Alliance, your European Union, and your Global Liberation Army terrorist insurgent group. And we plan to add more factions. None to announce. It's like a broken record, but we would like to add more factions to the game. I mean, there's certainly been demand for a US faction, which would be something that would be interesting to do, given that the European Union in this game basically replaces the US from Generals 1. They have a lot of commonalities. So it's how do we bring the US and make them interesting. But we like to also keep adding generals, because one of the joys of generals is as we add more game modes, you can start going, well, what would be awesome for this mode would be a general that does these things. So as the breadth of the core gameplay expands, we have more opportunities to add generals, and generals come with units, structures, powers, so it will keep the game diverse. And by the time we've tapped out the existing factions, we will have new factions to play with, hopefully. How do you build a believable world out of a free-to-play RTS when there's at least currently no sort of central campaign story to sort of bring you in and show you the world? Well, we did a lot of detailed world building when we started this game, when we were Generals 2, and that's all still relevant, and we're hoping to roll out a lot of the sort of grander aspects of the world, why things are, through our website, through the game in various ways over the coming years. There's a large demand from our fan base that we investigate, doing some kind of campaign single player, so there's definitely investigation there. There's obviously nothing to announce, but we would love to do that too. So it's working out how do you make that work in a free-to-play game and making sure that you put the time and effort into it to make it good. And one of the things we're doing to keep people coming back beyond just sort of grinding or leveling up is we're going to continually add content to the game, not just generals. Generals are awesome, they let you really customize how you play, but game modes, new maps, we're basically going to keep the game running as a live service from the moment we launch. So we were in alpha now, we're going to be moving into beta. We've been continually updating the content on that, growing more rapidly each time. And so we want to just keep that going. As long as people are playing CNC, we'll be adding more stuff. So even if you no longer want to play 1v1 deathmatch, or you've played Onslaught mode to death, we'll be rolling out new game modes that will draw you back in and make you interested and go, I'll take a crack at that. And I think, and making it free to play in a way was really good for that, because it allows us to be a little more experimental. Because RTSs are a little bit intimidating as a genre. If you're not a hardcore RTS gamer, there's like, oh, if I go online, I'm just going to get owned by some 11-year-old who's going to trash talk me the whole time, and I'm going to feel really bad about myself. So by providing options and then making the game free, we kind of hopefully draw people back into the genre, and download it and go, I don't want to play deathmatch, but oh, look at that, I'll go play that mode, and I'll be on a team with a bunch of people versus the AI, and suddenly it's not all on me. I can have time to sort of get my skill set up, and I can see if I enjoy it or not without having to lay down a bunch of money. Though, with RTS, I've always thought we never had our Unreal Tournament moment. We never had that thing where suddenly like, oh, there's more than deathmatch. We can do capture the flag, or we can do whatever. So we're trying to provide that. But we also want to provide modes that are more akin to sort of your traditional RTS experience, where something that might be a little more narrative driven, or something very objective play driven, rather than just kill the other guy until he's totally dead. We're in the middle actually of sort of iterating on the concept of a larger metagame surrounding our core gameplay. And it's obviously a pretty big challenge, because again, you don't want to break the strategy of your game, where if you can level your way up to a way that makes you just fundamentally better than another player, that can be problematic. So while we don't have anything specific to discuss yet, we're actually in the middle of full development of that to work out. We've tried a couple things that we haven't been happy with, and we're kind of of the belief that if we're not happy with something, most likely it's going to suck for everyone else, so we'd rather keep it close to the chest and iterate until we get it to a point of goodness and then roll it out.